What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Explain the Charts. Today is November 5th, 2025, and we are looking at Tesla, ticker symbol Tesla, which is sitting at one of its most critical junctures in recent memory. We have a massive news catalyst on the immediate horizon that could send the stock flying in either direction. In this video, we're going to break down the news, correlate it with the price action, and identify the key levels you need to be watching. So, let's start by looking at the big picture on the daily chart. As you can see, Tesla has had a wild ride over the past year, rallying from a low of around $214 back in April. The biggest story right now is the shareholder meeting scheduled for tomorrow, November 6th, where investors will vote on Elon Musk's massive, potentially trillion-dollar, compensation package. This has created a huge amount of uncertainty in the market. Major institutional investors, including the influential CalPERS pension fund and Norway's sovereign wealth fund, have already stated they will vote against the package, citing governance and dilution concerns. Musk himself has framed this vote as being crucial for his continued focus and commitment to Tesla's future, adding immense pressure to the outcome. This vote is essentially a referendum on investor confidence in Musk's leadership and his ambitious AI-driven vision for the company. The uncertainty is a primary driver of the recent volatility we've seen. This vote comes on the heels of Tesla's Q3 earnings report on October 22nd, which was a mixed bag. The company posted record revenue, which beat expectations, but missed on earnings per share. Initially, the stock dropped in after-hours trading following the call. However, the narrative shifted dramatically when Musk began to heavily emphasize future growth from AI, the Optimus robot, and the robotaxi fleet. He painted a picture of nearly infinite growth, which caused a massive sentiment reversal. This highlights the current battle in Tesla stock, the valuation of its current EV business versus the potential, high-margin future of its AI and robotics ventures. Bulls like Dan Ives see the autonomous tech alone being worth $1 trillion, setting a $600 price target, while bears believe the stock is priced for a perfection that is far from guaranteed. Now let's zoom in on the daily chart to see how this news has impacted the price, focusing on the last month or so. You can see the price was bleeding down into the earnings report on October 22nd, closing near $438. Then, after the initial post-earnings drop, look at this explosive move on October 24th. The stock gapped up from a close of $438 to open at $420, rallied hard to close at $448. No, wait, checking the data, it closed at $438.97 on the 22nd, and on the 23rd, after the report, it gapped down to $420 and closed at $448.98. That is a massive bullish engulfing candle on extremely high volume. This was the market buying into the AI narrative and completely ignoring the earnings miss, a very powerful statement. That move signaled a major short-term bottom and initiated a powerful rally that took us all the way to $474 just yesterday. Returning to the full daily chart, this recent rally has brought us back into a key resistance zone. The all-time high is not on this chart, but the 52-week high sits just above at $488.54, which is the ultimate target for the bulls. Before we get there, we have resistance at yesterday's high of $474.07 and the $460 area, which has acted as a pivot point before. On the support side, today's action is very telling. The stock pulled back significantly, finding a low at $443.60. This $443 level is now our most immediate support to watch. Below that, we have a support zone around $430, which was the area of consolidation before the most recent leg up. The most critical support level, however, is the October low around $413. A break below that level would signal a major reversal of the current uptrend. Now, let's drill down to the 1-hour chart to analyze the most recent price action. Here we can clearly see the strong uptrend from the last few days, culminating in that peak at $474 yesterday. However, look at the start of today's session on November 4th. We see a large gap down on the open, from yesterday's close of $468 all the way down to $454. This was followed by consistent selling pressure for the first few hours, taking the price down to that key support level of $443.60. This price action indicates significant profit-taking and nervousness from traders ahead of tomorrow's shareholder vote. The price has been trying to stabilize around this $444 level for the latter half of the day. The bulls are attempting to defend this support, but there has been little buying conviction to push the price back up. Immediate resistance on this time frame is the open price of around $454. If buyers can't reclaim that level, the short-term pressure remains to the downside. A break below today's low of $443.60 would open the door for a test of the next major support level around $430. Switching to the 15-minute chart for an even closer look at today's battle, we can see the sharp sell-off in the morning, followed by a choppy, sideways consolidation. Every attempt to rally has been met with selling pressure, keeping the price capped below the $455 mark. Volume has tapered off throughout the day, which is typical of a market waiting for a major catalyst. Nobody wants to place a large bet right before an event with such a binary outcome. The price action here is a perfect illustration of market uncertainty. So, let's go back to the daily chart and recap what this all means for traders. This is not a time for complacency. The outcome of tomorrow's vote is the single most important factor for the short to medium-term direction of Tesla. Let's summarize the key levels once more. Critical support is at today's low of $443, then the $430 zone, and finally the trend-defining level of $413. Key resistance is at $460, yesterday's high of $474, and the 52-week high of $488.54. Here are the two most likely scenarios based on the vote. First, the bullish case. If the pay package is approved, I would assign a 70% probability that the uncertainty is lifted and the AI narrative takes full control. We could see a gap up tomorrow and a swift move to retest the $474 resistance, with a high likelihood of pushing on to test the 52-week high at $488 in the days following. Confirmation would be a strong break and hold above the $460 resistance level. Second, the bearish case. If the vote fails, this could be seen as a major blow to Musk and the company's trajectory. I would give this a 60% chance of causing a significant sell-off. Look for a gap down that breaks today's low of $443, which would likely lead to a test of the $430 support zone very quickly. The situation could become very bearish if that level does not hold. Therefore, the event to watch is the shareholder vote announcement on November 6th. The market's immediate reaction to that news will set the tone for the next major move. That's all for today's analysis on Tesla. It's a fascinating setup with a massive catalyst just hours away. As a final reminder, this video is for informational and educational purposes only and is not financial advice. You should always conduct your own research and due diligence before making any investment decisions. Thanks for watching Explain the Charts, and we'll see you in the next one.